In the murk of twilight's glow, tales of horror gently flow through the annals of the past. Mysteries we seek to cast. In the shadows secrets lie, truth that time cannot deny. Voices echo, stories blend, in the night they never end. True crime tales that chill your spine, cold cases lost in time, duo murders dark and grim, pique your interest, drawing you in. Every mystery left behind, whispers creeping in your mind, covering all sorts of crime, stories twisted but sublime. Digging deep through every sign, true crime passion so divine. Hidden clues begin to speak, shadows dance where killers creep. Unsolved threads we strive to keep, burning questions never sleep. Every mystery left behind, whispers creeping in your mind, covering all sorts of crime, stories twisted but sublime.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Duo. This is your Peter Coonan. Crime Night. Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, bless up for watching. How are we doing, Stace, love?
I'm doing good. I'm finally back to getting crime done. Yay.
Yeah, well, we've out of our control.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're back with crime. We're back. Jules is saying music's creepy.
It is. I love it. I actually love the song. I sing it when it's played.
My theme song. It's on my ringtone on my phone. I'm proud of it.
Never is.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
I love it. No, I love singing it.
Because
it's a true crime thing. It apparently because it's for the crime section of the channel. They said it really fits it.
Yeah, I love it.
Jules, you've done a good job. I didn't even know he was dead, lol. Keep up for fuck's sake.
Come on, wait.
He's deadly and he hasn't been reincarnated. Not that I know of.
I fucking hope not.
God help us if you do.
Fucking hell, God help it if he's coming back. That's
Definitely
all I'm
not
doing.
me out and taking fucking Jessica belt with me.
The thing is, though, just right. Before I did this, I knew he had a victim in Roundy Park. But I didn't realise the section where she was, I've stood many a times.
Dr. Jangle and Miss Hyde. Dr. Jackal and Mrs. Hyde, Jules? Jackal. We'll get there. She'll give you a jangle if you want, Jules. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm still in the same place. Angels, just I've been
deep cleaning.
Hello, Carol again, darling. Good to see you back, sweetheart.
Big up, Carol. Nice to see you back. Hope you're doing well in the family.
I think it's the first time in the crime section, I think, as well. Not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a bit more polished than normal, Carol. Not much, mind. We've got Stacey and Chris.
Hey!
What are you saying?
Big up, Wiz.
How bad does she think we are, Mum?
Bad.
No, she's probably spot on.
Question.
She's spot on.
Why would you even have to ask it? Like Jess just said, why would you ask that question?
You know, Cruise is in line with JSY. I don't know about you, Stace. You know what I'm saying?
A bit slow notes. I said, love.
Big up, Alison.
I will be in the room next door before end of day tomorrow. Yes.
Well,
yeah, we've done a few there, Carol.
We do tend to keep this one quite polished-ish.
There's
No
no. This is
It's a polished YouTube here for the start, so it's not going to be
Yeah,
polished.
that's
is
what I
it?
mean. That's why polished-ish. Ish. We don't
It's-
talk
oh,
football.
there's a bit of time and effort gone into these streams.
Yeah.
I think that one.
Bye.
And I'm
Oh,
going to warning. This is actually a long presentation. It is 59 pages long.
Oh, you cut it down by 1 page.
now, brace yourself, peeps. Lock yourselves in. Get your popcorn.
I have done this one twice because I wasn't happy with the first draft, so I completely
God.
deleted it and redid it.
Big up drooler.
Wait,
Yeah, that's true, Wiz. That's true.
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right.
I think that
Like I
depends
ask every week, but I'm sure people will know anyway. Peter Coonan, I'm sure everybody on the panel's aware of him. I'm sure a majority of people in the chat are aware of him.
Do you know what? I could not find any youngish photos of him.
you are.
You know, like I did with like
Mm.
Greenville Killer. Could not find anything like that with him at all.
Get me.
What?
Big up, Kev.
Yorkshire Ripper.
Pitch.
Hang on. And it does some fudge or tells me off.
Don't you think?
Oh.
He looks an evil bastard. His eyes are fucking. He's got them
His eyes
black
are
eyes.
evil.
Yeah, black eyes.
It's them eyes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But looking at him, would you have thought he'd have killed us when he'd killed? Just looking at him walking past him in the street, you just wouldn't think it, would you? Let's be honest.
No, for me to look at him, I'd think I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. But
Maybe it'd be iffy for certain things, but
Yeah.
let's face it. Would you have thought he'd have committed 13 murders and 7 attempted murders?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Looking at him.
No.
I'm going to try and get a lamp made.
And how he got put in Broadmoor, I'll never know because he knew exactly what he was doing.
He
There's
did.
no thing
Him.
there for me.
I think he planned it actually.
Let me just.
Get him Rob, I got all the called.
But looking at him,
Well, the
it just-
thing, Broadmoor's a cushy part of it. That's what the criminals are thinking. Broadmoor's cushy because it's not technically a proper full-on prison. It's a hospital prison rather than a.
What prison is it? It's nothing like a prison. You get a lot more
No, that's what I
leeway in places like Broadmoor than you'll ever do in HMPs. Just my opinion, but it's a lot easier life in there.
Oh, definitely.
Why do you think the
I
pleading
don't know
penalty and all
that
that?
about being in there.
No, I've not personally been in there, but just speaking from what you've seen on fucking,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's a lot easier than being in Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. A
That's
lot
why.
of-
What's his face? When we did the Russell murders,
Yeah, Sam's.
we wanted to go there, but he actually was mentally ill, and they just thought he wanted to go there for pushy. It's a prime example that what people are thinking when you say Broadmoor, criminals saying Broadmoor, they were probably thinking more of an easy lifestyle rather
but
than
it's
getting
not
the help they
us.
needed.
I
Because
know.
suppose-
Charles Bronson, he's there and he's not criminally insane. He just won't admit to what he's done.
no.
And he says, well, I should have.
Broadmoor's just a male prison, isn't it?
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, I can remember my mum telling me, like, when she was a little girl growing up, when this happened, because obviously she was growing up at the time, that they were really funny with her. She had to be back at a certain time. She wasn't allowed to
Yeah,
go out
they were.
alone. I can remember mum telling me that.
Yeah,
She
there were
must have
curfew.
been,
I
what,
don't know if put it in the PD this or not, but yeah, they cover it in the Netflix series. Yeah, they actually implemented a curfew.
Yeah.
For ladies, but
Yeah.
then they also said if a woman's going to go out, they have to have
Not
a
allowed
male
to walk on their own,
companion.
they've got
That's
to
the
male.
one with, yeah.
So, which
I remember
caused
that.
a right ruckus.
Yeah, it did because they thought that
I can understand.
Targets.
I can understand that, from the women point of view, they felt like they were being stifled and controlled and stuff like that. But then I could see it from like the police point of view and why they implemented that.
No
lockdown.
disrespect to the police, Stacey. If they'd have done the job fucking right, they'd have had him a long time to fucking go. Don't go there about police. They miss so many opportunities for Peter Sutcliffe. It's unfucking real.
9 times.
They arrested him. So
9
don't
times.
tell me that, it's... I believe the police, a lot of it. No wonder he went on to do what he did.
Anyway, they didn't give a fuck.
Do you know what it was, Cruisy, right? And I don't mean this awful or outright, and this isn't my personal opinion, by the way, but because a lot of them were prostitutes, what he killed, They were worthless to business.
No, you are 100% correct.
Yeah, you're right.
That was
It
one.
would have been somebody, I don't know, middle-class woman, worked in a bank and all that, they'd have been bothered. But because they were prostitutes, they were seen as a burden to police anyway, so you did them a favour. It's wrong.
It wasn't until the 16-year-old, I think she was.
Youngest were 15, I think.
Yeah, the youngest one that he killed.
Yeah, 15.
That's when it piqued their interest because she wasn't a prostitute. That's when it piqued their interest.
Yeah, when he killed that girl on that fucking field. That's the only time that they were interested, because she was not a prostitute, as she was a middle class person. It shouldn't matter what job you are or what you are. At the end of the day, you're still a person. And I will be right honest with you. If this country didn't have prostitutes, there'd be a lot more mucky bastards on the street than there is. Let's be frank with that.
They're not doing no harm to anyone. Let them do it.
I can't
If
lie.
they're being forced into it, that's a different matter.
You know what? You just get rid of that thing.
If they're
That's
forced
all
into
I'm
it,
saying. That's my belief
matter.
regarding prostitutes, is if we didn't have prostitutes, there would be a lot more mucky bastards on the streets than there is now. And that is a fact. And just because it's a prostitute, that doesn't mean they're any less worth than, say, myself,
Exactly.
or David, in my opinion.
Agreed. 1,000%.
But he knew the right way to go about killing people, or who he killed, who he
Well, the next quote just perfectly sums him up.
fucking went for.
I'll go to his quote.
Let's go.
The women I killed were filth, bastard prostitutes who were littering the streets. I was just cleaning up the place a bit. That's one of his quotes.
But he used to sleep with prostitutes, so how can you say that? That's contradicting yourself. What gives you the right to think you can go out and just kill people for fucking sake of it? What, because of the prostitutes? What? So what? That means fuck all, in my opinion. Now, if you were ridding the world of other beasts, that's different. But I can't be honest. I suppose as a prostitute, they didn't choose to do that job. It's the kind of work with easy money in the day. You can't help when you're addicted. I can't lie.
A lot of women in that Netflix interview. They interviewed quite a lot of women, and they turned around and said, "We need to make money. There's nothing else for us. It's a way to make money.
It's a job.
The easy way of making
Whether
money.
you not cringe at that or not, at the end of the day."
My philosophy is, if they are willing, participating in being prostitutes or selling them as being a sex worker, leave them to it. It's their choice. It's their body. Let them do what they want to do with it.
But I don't believe in this philosophy there. I can't lie.
No, and if they're forced into it, then I think some intervention should be brought into it. If they are forcibly.
More nowadays, Stacey, but I suppose back in the 70s and 80s, there weren't grooming gangs out there, there weren't pimps out there. I don't like that. So I suppose if you've got 4 or 5 kids, and some of them did have 3, 4 kids, it's putting bread on the table. It's putting food on the table. Yeah, it's not the ideological way to go, and it's in working, but they did that, a lot of them, to provide food for the kids.
Yeah,
you've got to get it up to them.
And I know one of the victims was discovered by a bloke who appeared in Coronation Street.
Yeah,
yeah.
Look up at each victims. Even if you don't know, if you go away knowing something, go watch the Netflix documentary. They do go in quite a good depth in regards to this, like footage of the cops at the crime scene, which there is some photos from the crime scene, but it's not gruesome. I've just purposely not put anything gruesome in there.
I've read everything about him, to be honest with you.
So, like, there's no blood, it's black and white photos.
Unless Yorkshire police can't even take credit for arresting him, because it was South Yorkshire police that caught him in fucking Sheffield.
In the Netflix series, this has been done for like 3 weeks, I can't remember what the figure put in it. On the Netflix documentary, one of the coppers had actually put Peter's name forward and basically was told to fuck off.
Well, let's say I am Jack. I am the killer with a fucking Geordie accent. That's what killed that investigation. We're all looking for a fucking Geordie.
Yeah. The same copper that was putting Peter's name forward got literally a new arsehole ripped by the chief. I think it was the chief inspector. One of the fucking George, the one that was main controversy after all this came out. And he turned around and said that the Yorkshire Ripper was not a Yorkshireman. I do not want to hear that it's a Yorkshireman because they were going on the tape of Wayside Jack. If they'd actually listened to the officer the first time, yeah, Jules, he might have killed less.
Well, yeah, because back in the day, there weren't computers, so we're all done on filing indexes, which were these little cards on a spinny thing that they used to put in, right? So as soon as they got that tape, he stopped all the investigations and went by that fucking tape. And he wasn't Geordie that had done it, but that
there were 2 victims
threw him off
that survived, and they didn't listen to the victims.
And even
when they turned around and he was a Yorkshireman. He had a broad Yorkshire accent. He was not a Geordie, he was a Yorkshireman. And they completely disregard the 2 victims' lives.
So you got to yourself, in some respects, police do have to take a lot of the blame for why they never caught him as early.
They are, I'd say, 30% responsible for the deaths. And rest of it.
I'd say a bit more than that. I'd go 60-40 there for fucking fault. They had him 9 times, Stace.
9? You're right.
9 times.
Yeah, they stopped him.
Yeah, we're going to put a little bit of percentage on the Wayside Jack as well, because him sending them tapes threw them off. You know, so he is culpable, but they did catch him.
That means Lee's going to lie down and listen and fall asleep.
He's going to fall asleep.
Just kidding.
You'll fall asleep, it's boring. Then let me know, Liz.
Enjoy your sleep. just joking.
Yeah, enjoy your sleep.
And I agree, forensics were nothing like how they are today.
They're not.
Exactly. No DNA.
DNA back in 86, so.
Yeah, DNA typing back then was blood groups.
Yeah, all they could say was A, B, whatever, negative, fucking positive. It wasn't until 86 that fucking DNA came into play.
Play.
No, that's just it. They didn't. I mean, now it's swab your mouth, pull your hair out, do your nails, underneath your nails,
pubic hair, all that sort of stuff.
They can even get you now by family relatives as well, because they now have access to
that's familiar with DNA, don't they?
Yeah, they do it now.
That's not common in America to use DNA on the ancestry database. That's how they manufactured a few cold cases where they solved it going through the DNA they found at a crime scene. They'll go through the genealogy and they'll find someone. Because I think
that's like an uncle or an auntie or something like that.
In America,
okay with it.
There was a case in America where a guy killed somebody, and one of his brothers had DNA on one of the sites, and they actually traced his brother and realised it was his actual brother that did the murder. So,
there was a bloke that he was a film director, and they thought he'd done it because of what movies he made.
Better take our DNA.
And they realised it was his uncle that was the killer. Can you imagine now? For example, did not Dennis Nielsen? Oh no, was it Dennis Nielsen? There was 1 or 2 they couldn't identify because the bones were so deteriorated.
Big up, Vinny.
Now they could identify any ones that are remaining. They could right now probably identify them.
But only if it's done in the proper, it's been secured and away in the right order.
Is now
it's no good.
With DNA, because what they can do now is they can take a small amount of DNA and replicate the DNA strand to make a good sequence of DNA to be able to be identified as someone. That shows you how much DNA has advanced from when Sutcliffe were doing these murders to now.
Yeah, but when it first started off, they didn't get it right in the first place. But you just found a body, haven't they, of bones in between Wakefield area in some woods. If you haven't read about it, it's in news now.
Yeah, I've seen bits about it. I've not read into it yet.
What's the name? And Nicola's friend. The chef. Forgot her name.
You think it's her?
A lot of people think it's her.
Clara or Clarence or something. Look, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can't remember her
name. I know who you mean.
Yeah, I think it might be her.
Yeah. Because what Belfield connected to her at some point. Didn't you think Belfield were connected to her at one point?
Yeah, but Belfield, no, because it's different. They think it was a neighbour that lived above her.
Yeah, right. Yes, I know who you mean now. Yeah, because it's still unsolved, isn't it? Even
Lawrence. Claudia Lawrence?
Claudia Lawrence, that's the one. Yes, Claudia.
The brain is
And
there.
that's an interesting one, Claudia Lawrence, because they've never found her body. And her dad got accused of it, didn't
I think they might have done, Jess.
Okay, no,
They found the body out there.
Yeah, they're
Bones.
saying the body's been there for quite a while, so it's not a new body, it's an old body, which could take it back to when she went missing.
Well, Stephen Ashton's been charged with another murder that he committed way before he killed those 5 prostitutes in Ipswich. They've just charged him with another murder.
Yeah, what is it?
Have we got the crossbow killer on the list?
No.
One in Bradford.
Crossbow
That's
killer.
pretty good one to cover.
Is that with dodgy eye?
No.
See, that's to make you think then, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even if
Right,
you
let's
think
get
about
cracking because it's a long one.
right, I mean, Sutcliffe, right, when he did all his, but you think about it, right, we actually drive past most of them places.
Exactly.
live
That's one thing.
Quite
That's what I was
close.
saying, though. I knew, like I said, I knew one of his victims were found in Roundy Park.
Yeah, well, outskirts around
It wasn't until I knew. Don't get me wrong. I knew quite some parts of this Yorkshire Ripper, but obviously, when I were doing the research for this one, I actually rewatched the Netflix series as well alongside, and then I'm looking and thinking, I've been on that spot so many times because when she was murdered, there was no outbuilding there, but there is now, right near where she was found. And how many times have I been at that outbuilding? And I'm stood there and I'm reflecting, thinking, wow.
And then I drove past Edinburgh the other day and I showed you where the woman were found.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
thought,
amazing.
yeah.
Right, let's go. Right. Who is Peter Sutcliffe? So Peter William Sutcliffe, born 2nd of June 1946, died 30th November 2020. Wiz.
There you go, Wiz.
Also referred to as Peter Coonan, was a notorious English serial killer who was found guilty of the murders of 13 women and attempted murders of 7 others from 1975 to 1980. Press coverage labelled him the Yorkshire Ripper, drawing a parallel to the infamous Victorian serial killer Jack the Ripper. Sutcliffe received 20 concurrent life sentences, which were later converted to whole life order in 2010. Of his murders, 2 occurred in Manchester, while the remaining took place in West Yorkshire. Criminal psychologist David Holmes describes Sutcliffe as an extremely callous, sexual, sadistic serial killer. David Holmes is, if he's one I'm thinking of, he's well known.
Yeah.
Criminal psychologist. I love David. I think he's a fantastic psychologist.
I'm actually putting this on.
Early life. Peter William Sutcliffe was born on the 2nd of June 1946 in Shipley, located in the West Riding of Yorkshire, to a working class family residing in Bingley. His parents were John William Sutcliffe and his spouse Kathleen. While Sutcliffe's mother adhered to a Catholic faith, his father practiced as a member of the choir at the local Anglican Church of St Wilfrid's. Consequently, their children were brought up in their mother's Catholic tradition. And Sutcliffe had a brief period of serving as an altar boy. The domestic environment was tumultuous, as Sutcliffe's mother endured domestic violence from her alcoholic husband, which likely contributed to her experiencing significant emotional distress during her pregnancy. Sutcliffe was born prematurely and required a 2-week hospitalisation. One of Sutcliffe's brothers recalled an episode where their father violently struck Sutcliffe with a beer glass during a Christmas dispute when the brother was around 4 or 5 years old. Furthermore, it was common for Sutcliffe's father to discipline his children by whipping them with a belt.
Does somebody want to answer that for Roland?
An altar boy is just basically someone. It's like works in the choir. So go to church and sing in the choir.
They carry things around and stuff, and
things
like
around,
and
candles, Bibles, and stuff like that. If you Google altar boy, you'll see some like videos and images of what an altar boy is. It's not very common in the UK now, unless you're really religious and you go to church a lot.
But just be careful with
the beer class at fucking 5-year-old.
That brings back memories. Sorry. Happened to John, did that. His dad got pissed me a little, he fucking fell out the back door and fucking whacked his head in the fucking lawnmower and split it wide open. Tried to bring that to hospital, they'd have to take him down.
In 1970, Sutcliffe's father impersonated his wife's lover to entice her to a nearby hotel. bringing along Sutcliffe and two of his siblings to witness the revelation of her unfaithfulness. Upon the arrival of Sutcliffe's mother, his father produced a negligee from her handbag while their children observed. During his late teenage years, Sutcliffe developed an increasing fixation on voyeurism, dedicating considerable time to observing prostitutes and their male patrons. So there we go, starting early there. Described as a solitary individual, he left school at the age of 15 and held various low-paying jobs, including 2 periods as a gravedigger at Bingley Cemetery during the 1960s. This line of work led Sutcliffe to cultivate a grim sense of humour. Colleagues noted that he seemed to take pleasure in his duties and would often even volunteer for extra hours to clean corpses. Ugh. From November 1971 to April 1973, Sutcliffe was employed at the Baird television factory on packaging assembly line. He departed from this role when he was invited to travel as a salesman. Shall we continue with daily life?
Since he was a kid, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what right in the fucking right mind? It's father take him along to what mother's getting up to, man. No wonder he's being fucking dinged. No wonder he's obsessed. Being stamped from a fucking early age.
Yeah.
And grave digging. Oh my lord, what a gruesome job.
I couldn't do that.
Nah, couldn't do that shit. Nah.
After departing from Baird television, yes. Sutcliffe began working night shifts at the Britannia Works of Addington International starting in April 1973. In February 1975, he opted for redundancy and allocated half the £400 surveillance payment to undergo training as a heavy severance payment to undergo training as a heavy goods vehicle driver, HGV. 9 forklift trucks.
Yeah.
HGVs are fucking lorries.
No, lorries, sorry.
44-ton fucking trucks.
Yeah, big lorries, you know.
Sorry, folks. Jeez.
I'm trying to school 9 and get fucking schooled myself, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if you're wrong.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yep, so I'll rephrase that.
Yeah.
So that's lorries, heavy truck lorries 9. He remained on the 5th of March 1976, Sutcliffe was terminated from his position due to a theft of used tyres. He remained unemployed until October 1976, when he secured a job as an HGV driver for T&WH Clark Holdings Limited, located on Canal Road Industrial Estate in Bradford. Sutcliffe is reported to have hired prostitutes during his youth, and there is speculation that he experienced a negative incident in which he was swindled out of money by a prostitute and her pimp. Other examinations of Sutcliffe's behaviour have not uncovered evidence that he actively sought the services of prostitutes. However, they do not indicate that he developed an obsession with them, which included observing them soliciting on the streets of Leeds and Bradford.
It's a strange hobby to pick up in it, prostitute watching. I mean, I've heard of bird spotting and fucking train spotting and all that. That's an interesting one.
He was married to someone called Sonia, which I've left out of. So, while he was married, Sonia, his wife, experienced multiple miscarriages following her marriage to Sutcliffe, and they were advised that she would be unable to conceive. Eventually, Sonia returned to her teacher training program, during which she engaged in an affair with the driver of an ice cream van. Upon completing her course in 1977 and starting her teaching career, she and Sutcliffe utilised her earnings to purchase a residence at 6 Garden Lane in Heaton, where they relocated on the 26th of September 1977 and where they resided at the time of Sutcliffe's apprehension in 1980.
She still lived in that house after she died.
She did. Yeah.
Well, not as he got older now, no.
No. You got to think of it now. Back then, parents didn't really give a shit. The kids were out and about. They were out of the hair. It's not like
we
it
were
is
told,
now.
go out and play out, but you come in with street lights. Come on.
Yeah. And the saying goes, kids are better seen than not heard.
True.
Yeah.
By that time, though, he was already a young man himself, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are.
And he's been around prostitutes since he was a young man until he got married.
Mm-hmm. So, the next bunch is the attacks that he has been found to have committed. So, 1969. Sutcliffe's initial recorded assault involved a female sex worker he encountered while in search for another woman who had swindled him out of money. He exited his friend Trevor Birdsall minivan and proceeded along St. Paul's Road in Bradford until he was no longer visible. Upon his return, Sutcliffe seemed out of breath as though he had been running and urged Birdsall to drive away swiftly. He alleged that he had followed a prostitute into a garage and struck her on the head with a stone concealed in a sock. The next day, law enforcement officers visited Sutcliffe's residence because the woman he had attacked had taken the note of Birdsall's vehicle registration number. Sutcliffe confessed to hitting her, but maintained that it was with his hand. The officers informed him that he was very fortunate, as the woman did not intend to file charges.
That's because she was a prostitute.
Because she was.
You mean police spoke to her and said, we're not taking it any further?
Yeah.
Basically.
Because she was a prostitute,
You know what I'm saying? If it had been anybody else, it'd have been different.
Yeah, it would have been different. Exactly. In 1975, Sutcliffe perpetrated his second documented assault in Keighley on the evening of 5th of July. He targeted 36-year-old Anna Rowski, who was walking alone, and rendered her unconscious by striking her with a hammer, subsequently inflicting wounds to her abdomen with a knife. His attack was interrupted by a neighbour, prompting him to flee the scene without completing the act of murder. I'll just call her by her first name. Anna survived after undergoing brain surgery. However, she was left with significant psychological trauma as a result of the incident. She later conveyed that she experienced a persistent fear of venturing outside, feeling as though she was being observed and pointed at by others, and described how her encounter with Sutcliffe had transformed her existence into one of despair, at times wishing she had perished during the assault. That's bad.
Yeah, she did her...
Hitting him on head with a hammer, it's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did he actually ever commit any sexual assaults on any of these that he actually hit on head with a hammer?
I can't recall. I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Because a lot of people say it was like a sexual thrill, but from what I always gathered, he never actually touched any of them. He just hit them on the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Just killed them or attacked them.
Yeah. On the night of 15th of August, Sutcliffe struck again, this time targeting 46-year-old Olive Smelt in Halifax. Utilising a similar method of operation, he initiated a brief conversation with Smelt regarding the weather before delivering hammer blows to her skull from behind. Following this, he disarranged her clothing and inflicted a knife wound to her lower back. Once more, Sutcliffe was interrupted, leaving his victim severely injured but alive. Like Anne, Smelt endured profound emotional and psychological trauma in the aftermath. She later informed Detective Superintendent Dick Holland that her assailant possessed a Yorkshire accent. However, a crucial detail, along with the fact that she, not Anne, were situated in areas known for red light districts, were situated in areas known, for red light districts, was disregarded.
But so because you said it with a fucking Yorkshire accent.
Yeah.
Right, so according to this, Peter Coonan, known as the Yorkshire Ripper, was never formally charged for or convicted for sexual assault in the court of law.
I agree, Drew.
Despite the often sexualised nature of his crimes. So they didn't charge him with that.
They didn't physically assault them then. So he just
got away with that. They just charged him with the murders. And the assault.
Right.
I mean, but on that occasion, he used a knife, which one very thin. Normally, it would just, I'm not saying
the knife.
He must have had a deep hatred from prostitutes, and that all stems, in my opinion, from his dad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally.
On August 27th, Sutcliffe assaulted 14-year-old Tracy Brown in Silsden, striking her on the head 5 times from behind as she walked along a rural lane. He fled the scene, noticing the headlights of an approaching vehicle, leaving his victim in need of brain surgery. Although Sutcliffe was not convicted for this attack, he admitted it in 1992. Brown later reflected on the incident, mentioning that she had initially felt a sense of charm from Sutcliffe, recalling that they had walked together for nearly a mile, excuse me, approximately 30 minutes, without ever feeling threatened or in peril. So he could charm them.
Well, he must have charmed them, Stacey, to get him in car. He's not going to just, you cunt, I'm going to blow your fucking head off. Give him something to get in that car for the start.
What I'm saying is that
let's face it.
He didn't.
They said he could charm the fucking pants off people, Sutcliffe.
Yeah, it seems to have done the job. So now they're on to the murders now. Yeah. So 1975, Sutcliffe was 28-year-old Wilma married.
Right? He never got charged with anything.
No.
So
it was when he was apprehended for the murder.
Killing people, he'd never been charged with nothing.
Yeah. No. He got arrested for the first one, but because the woman did not want to press charges, he was let go.
Yeah, he got away with it.
So it wasn't until after he was to police in. So when they arrested him, when they had him in these 9 times, why didn't they go back 20 of this? Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Shoddy police work. Yeah. Very shoddy police work. Very shoddy.
It still happens now, though.
Very.
It still happens today. They still do the same thing now.
Don't know about that one, Wiz, but I think the assumption was that maybe she was, or just walking, really. Or maybe she wasn't, and he assumed she was.
Scott Hall Avenue, that ain't even far from either of us.
Yeah. No. So the initial victim of Sutcliffe was 28-year-old. It's the first one he killed.
It's the first one he killed, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because she left the kids at home. And when she obviously didn't come back in the morning, kids started worrying where she was, because I think she had 2 or 3 kids.
And the police turned up.
Yeah. Somebody found her at the back of the house where she lived, didn't it?
Yeah. I think so. A mother of 4 residing in Scott Hall was murdered on the 30th of October. McCann was last observed alive at 7:30 p.m. as she departed her council house located on Scott Hall Avenue in the Chapeltown district of Leeds. Past the adjacent Prince Philip playing fields. Similar to the previous assaults, Sutcliffe approached her from behind and delivered 2 blows to the back of her skull with a hammer. A comprehensive investigation, which included 150 officers from the West Yorkshire Police and 11,000 interviews, was unable to identify Sutcliffe. So, at this point, he wasn't even considered a suspect.
Thing is, though, right, if it were just the case, like, I could understand if he'd essayed him, right, but he hadn't. So, for me, it's just pure hatred of prostitutes, in my opinion, because a lot of people do sexually assault the victims. He never did.
Yes.
It's quite worrying. Some of them say, well, he was sexually, he got a thrill out of it. I genuinely don't think he did. I think he genuinely got a thrill out of killing prostitutes. I think they got that wrong.
I think the quote that started
from his father. It's in being inbred, isn't it? Since he was a kid.
See, the quote that I found completely backs what you just said 1,000%. That quote just says it all.
Yeah,
I used to work as a care worker. Not a care layout, but I used to work as a care worker. Let's get it right.
Yeah, on the area.
So and then playing fields, and at the bottom of where I used to look after, when the lasses I used to go look after, I used to drive past it every single day.
Right, let's go on to
it's scary.
On January 20th, 1976, Sutcliffe perpetrated his subsequent murder in Leeds, where he fatally stabbed 32-year-old Emily Monica Jackson 52 times. Facing severe financial difficulties, Jackson had been convinced by her husband to resort to prostitution, utilising the van from their family roofing enterprise. Sutcliffe encountered Jackson, who was soliciting outside the gay pub located on Ramsey Road, and subsequently drove approximately half a mile to abandoned structures on Enfield Terrace with the Manor Industrial Estate. There, Sutcliffe struck Jackson on the head with a hammer, dragged her lifeless body into a yard littered with refuse, and then employed a sharpened screwdriver to stab wounds in her neck, chest, abdomen. He also stamped on her thigh, leaving a distinctive impression of her boot. So he literally is, he's getting no sexual thrill out of this. He's just getting a thrill.
He changed his mode there because it's normally with a hammer, but to stab somebody 52 times, that's proper hatred. That's a rage in it. That's a rage killing. And then after she dead, to do it with a fucking screwdriver as well.
Yeah.
So, Nice asked about
No.
Is there been a sexual assault?
No. I say no.
And McCann, they're not sure. They think she might have gone out to make some money, but they don't know the full story of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they know she went out, and that's time they saw her. So they think that she may have gone to earn some money, but they're not 100% sure.
Majority of his victims were prostitutes.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple that were there, and they only started really taking note when they found her on that field. That wasn't a prostitute.
That's true.
No.
That's when they started taking notice.
Yeah. Which is wrong, by the way.
Yeah. On 9th of May, Sutcliffe assaulted. So now on 76. On 9th of May, Sutcliffe assaulted a 20-year-old Marcella Claxton in Roundy Park, or returning home from a party. So this was not a prostitute by the looks of it. Claxton accepted Sutcliffe's offer for a ride. When she exited the vehicle to relieve herself, he struck her from behind with a hammer. Claxton managed to survive and provided testimony against Sutcliffe during his trial. At the time of the assault, Claxton was 4 months pregnant and later experienced a miscarriage. She underwent several extensive brain surgeries and has since dealt with intermittent blackouts and chronic depression. So this one's a survivor.
Well, let's face it, back in the day, a lot of women or young girls used to flag down cars for a lift, didn't they?
A lift home, yeah.
Not now in heard of, but back in the day, lots of young girls used to flag cars down for a lift. I mean, you won't do it nowadays, and you always tell your kids, you don't go with strangers, and you know what I'm saying, you run away, but I suppose back then, it was totally different. But he's evil, innit? At your most weakest, squatting to have a wee, and he gets out of the car and hits you on the head with a hammer. What an evil bastard.
So, now 1997. On February 5th, Sutcliffe assaulted 28-year-old Irene Richardson, a prostitute from Chapeltown in Roundy Park. Richardson was last observed at 11:15 departing from a lodging house on Copper Street, where she mentioned she was heading to Tiffany's, a pub and disco located in the heart of Leeds. I don't know where Tiffany's is. You might have to enlighten us, mother.
You'll speed the Marion Centre upstairs.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Cruzy. Yeah, I know what you mean.
There we go. Older generation will know. I won't mean that as the mum being older. I mean,
older lady, same age as me, and it Cruzy, I'll stick up for your love.
I was 14 years old. I tried to get in there, they kicked me out, the bastards.
There you go.
He's never been there, but I know where you mean. I'll have to see if anyone's ever been there.
Yeah, Steve Mrs. Biddy.
I'll ask her.
She was brutally bludgeoned to death with a hammer, suffered stab wounds to her neck and throat, as well as 3 punctures to her abdomen. After her death, Sutcliffe desecrated her remains with a knife and subsequently positioned her body by carefully placing her knee-length boots over the back of her thighs. Tire tracks discovered near the crime scene led to an extensive list of potential suspect vehicles.
That's looking for the needle in an air stack, innit? Fucking
yeah. Especially back then.
Tire marks could be from loads of different fucking cars. And again, people just hitting around the head with a hammer. Then he goes full hog and stabs her and mutilates her body.
Yeah.
And that's so much disregard for prostitutes. It's unreal.
It used to be a nightclub ruler. If you ever remember, there used to be a program called Hitman and Her with Peter Waterman and Michaela Strachan. These 2 nightclubs. And it was actually on one of their they have actually been on doing it.
I'll find a picture of it. See if I can find a picture of it, Drula, after we're finished.
It went from Tiffany's.
What was it called, Stacey? Tiffany's.
Tiffany's.
YouTube. Tiffany's.
Well, Jess is finding that. I'll do this part. 2 months later, on April 23rd, Sutcliffe murdered 32-year-old sex worker Patricia Tina Atkinson Mitra in her flat in Bradford, where law enforcement discovered a boot print on the bedding. Sutcliffe stated that he had picked up Atkinson in the Manningham prior to transporting her to her home. Once there, he struck on the back of the head 4 times to render her unconscious, subsequently removing her jeans and pants and exposing her breasts. He then proceeded to stab her 6 times in the abdomen with a knife. Have you found it, Jess? Or shall I continue until you found it?
Carry on, Stu. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Leeds
Here
Marion
we go.
Centre.
This is the one.
Yeah, Leeds Marion Centre, but you can't really find a picture of it. There's not much on here.
This is the one that got the police's attention, if I'm not mistaken. On June 25th, 1977, 15-year-old Jane Michelle MacDonald went to meet her friends at the Hofbauer's House, a German-style beer hall located in Leeds. After missing last bus home, she returned to her friend's house to wait for her sister to pick her up. Approximately 45 minutes later, MacDonald opted to walk home. During her walk, she was assaulted by Sutcliffe on Reginald Street at around 2 a.m. The following morning at 9:45 a.m., children discovered MacDonald's body in the playground situated between Reginald Terrace and Reginald Street in Chapeltown, which I think is now the home of Reginald Centre. That area, because I've been there quite a few times with Zachary for his appointment. Yeah, the post-mortem examination was conducted by the Home Office pathologist, Professor David Gee. At the time, the police did not disclose the full extent of her injuries. However, it was later revealed that she had been struck in the head 3 times with a hammer and had sustained stab wounds to her chest and back, with a broken bottle found lodged in her chest.
That's grim, innit?
So this is the one. I think this is wrong, but I think this is the one that made the police pay attention.
But have you noticed something
she's
there?
15 and
Where they say it, a Home Office pathologist inducted that. What about the rest of them then? Why won't the Home Office pathologist on here? Other than she was just a civilian, shall we say, walking home. Why should that matter?
So reporting on this, from what I can find from Netflix, they were reporting on this, but it was they were prostitutes, and that just there was just no regard for them. When this victim came out,
but then again, look at that. She was just a civilian, as we say.
Yep, she just happened to walk in home.
Now you know we've got plenty of places that are shopping centres. Town itself is a big shopping centre.
Yep. So basically, anyone that was at a certain time was a prime target for him, prostitute or not.
Oh, to him.
Exactly.
Anyway.
On October the 1st, 1977, Sutcliffe took the life of 20-year-old Jean Bernadette Jordan, a mother of 2 and a sex worker from Manchester. So this is the one that's outside of Manchester, in Manchester, who was effectively referred to as her friends as Scottish Jean. Shortly after 9 p.m, Sutcliffe was driving through the Moss Side area when he encountered Jordan. Upon arriving at an allotment located on Princess Road near Southern Cemetery, he struck her once in the head with a hammer, followed by an additional 10 blows. In subsequent confession, Sutcliffe revealed that he had become aware that the new £5 note he had given to Jordan was traceable. After hosting a family gathering at his residence over the October 9th, 1977, he returned to the desolate area behind Southern Cemetery where he had left her body. But he could not locate the note. He then proceeded to remove her clothing and used a knife along with a broken piece of glass to disfigure her remains, attempting to sever her head with the glass and a hacksaw. That £5 note
started then. So banks had all codes where they've been released to, and what businesses they've been sent out to them, and that's why you panicked. They never found it. But if they would have done, they could have traced it back to where it was.
Yeah,
so
each note has got the code.
Bruce Jones.
Serial number.
Every bank.
If you can, Jess, grab me a picture of Bruce Jones before I go on to the next slide.
Bruce Jones. Was it?
I think he's the one that
Les Battersby. Is Les Battersby?
Yeah, that's the book. He found a victim.
He's
the one that found the next victim. No, he found this victim.
Yeah, he walked over. In fact,
he
where
found her.
It's right behind the centre.
That's him, innit?
Yeah, that's him.
This is Bruce Jones. If you know Coronation Street, Les Battersby, he was the one that found Jean.
He was.
He's the one that found her. He's in a Netflix documentary explaining when he found her.
Yeah.
So, I need to share screen again, don't I, Jess? There we go. So we've got.
And I told Stacey
the morning of October 10th, the body of Jordan was found by Bruce Jones, a local dairy worker who later became an actor. Les Battersby. He was searching for house bricks online adjacent to the site when he made the grim discovery. The £5 note, concealed within a secret compartment of Jordan's handbag, was chased back to the branches of a Midland bank located in Bingley and Shipley. Though an analysis of banking operations, the police were able to limit their investigation to 8,000 employees who might have received the note in their paychecks. Over the span of 3 months, law enforcement interviewed 5,000 men, including Sutcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
It was determined that Sutcliffe's alibi, which involved a family gathering, was credible. Despite weeks of thorough investigation into the origins of the note, no significant leads emerged, leaving investigators frustrated as they had obtained a crucial clue but were unable to identify the specific firm or individual to whom the note had been issued. So now, this is one of the first time they interviewed Sutcliffe because of that £5 note.
But they'd already had him and fucking let him go, dozy bastards.
For the attack, yeah. On December 14th, Sutcliffe assaulted Mallory Moore, a 25-year-old sex worker, in the rear of his vehicle located on the desolate land in Scotholm. While attempting to strike Moore with a hammer, Sutcliffe lost his footing, which enabled Moore to flee despite sustaining serious head injuries. Tyre tracks discovered at the location corresponded with those from previous assaults. The resulting composite sketch closely resembled Sutcliffe, similar to those created from other survivors' accounts. Moore was able to provide a detailed description of Sutcliffe's black sunbeam rapier, which had been observed in areas known for prostitution. Sutcliffe was subsequently questioned regarding this matter. So, in regards to the murder, this is interview number 2.
I don't know if you find that bit about that bit where they interviewed him. Apparently, they said he didn't look like
The composite sketch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like him. When he fucking did.
He fucking did it with double of him.
Wasn't it just? They said
Yeah.
they wanted him.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, they said they wanted him.
Police seized on 1978. The police ceased their search for the individual who received the £5 note in January 1978. Despite being interviewed regarding this issue, Sutcliffe was not subject to further investigation or was subsequently contacted and dismissed by the Ripper investigation on multiple occasions thereafter. In that same month, Sutcliffe murdered Yvonne Ann Pearson, a 21-year-old sex worker from Bradford. On January 21st, January 1978, he violently struck her head multiple times with a ball-peen hammer, then leaped onto her chest before forcing horsehair into her mouth from the discarded sofa, beneath which he concealed her body near Lum Lane.
I know I love murders.
10 days later, on January 31st,
Stop
Sutcliffe murdered.
Show something, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they're saying he didn't look nothing like the E-fit, right?
Yeah.
Go back. Then
Look at this, right? Look at that top one, Stacey. You're telling me that don't look like him.
Yeah.
It looked like him.
He's
Now,
a photo.
I understand with you three.
No.
The second one, yeah. No.
Second
it
one,
don't-
no.
This one, it's not
Yeah.
far off.
First one is not far off at all, but if you look at
Oh,
the
that third one, to be fair.
No.
For
Out of
me,
the 4 was only
it's
3 I'd
one.
say were him.
I think the first one is more spot on with him. I think the third one,
Far too, no. Far too.
I think the third one's a bit too long, elongated in the chin, which probably why they threw him off a little
If
bit.
you look at that one there, that third one down, right? I know the hair's a bit off, but
Yeah.
the goat is spot on.
Yeah, isn't it?
Both is spot on, but I think if you look how elongated the chin was.
Yeah, well, come
They
on.
might
You
have to
attack
look a
my
little bit.
fucking hammer, what do you expect?
I mean, look at that one at bottom there. That was Marilyn Moore, second photo fit issued, what you've just been on about there. That's very similar.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
spot on.
And then if you go on to this, right, that £5 note,
Yeah, which we discussing.
I just don't get. Both times his wife, his wife gave the same story. See,
Yeah.
I just don't know how she.
I can't even read that shit on that screen. That's so small.
I don't
No,
know. How
basically,
that.
No, if you go back onto that, Jess, there's a quote there that kind of hit the nail on the head. How he managed to get away with it, keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's police. Peter Sutcliffe was
All the
interviewed
way
by
inside.
2 sets of different police officers. Both times, he and his wife gave the same stories. They had been at home on the night of October the 1st and having a housewarming party. So, at the end of the day, either his wife would have been fucking in
She
air.
lied. She
Of course
lied.
she did. Come on, she gave him false alibis as well, in my opinion. I can't lie.
She
There was a
lied.
quote there from one of the assistants to the officer that said he didn't resemble the thief at all.
Yeah, but listen to this, right? Jack Ridgway, right? This was his assistant. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I personally don't believe that we have yet met the killer in our multitude of interviews. When we do, I am positive we will realise it and nail him. But you did.
That's what that caught my eye.
Not only had the police
quote.
interviewed the person who received the £5 note, but he was also the killer of Jean Jordan and was the Yorkshire Ripper, and the police did not realise it. So you had see, that's how lame the busies are.
But then can you imagine what his ego's going to be like? Because he's been arrested so many times, been interviewed so many times. His ego's going to be like...
Not even once, closing 9 fucking times, and they still didn't realise.
The investigation.
It's going to be worse.
That's the quote that popped out to me, just that exact quote from his assistant.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
No, they're so arrogant by police as well. Well, I've known if I'd interviewed him. Well, you fucking already had 9 times, actually.
No, I got no £5 note, my granddad's. Fucking hell.
10 days later, on January 31st, Sutcliffe murdered Helen Richter, an 18-year-old sex worker from Huddersfield, by striking her in the head 5 times as she exited his vehicle at Garrett's timber yard. He then removed most of her clothing, leaving her bra and polo-neck jumper positioned above her breasts. Subsequently, here we go.
Richter, so it was the only victim that he had done that to them.
Yeah, was sexually assaulted while laying on the ground. Notably, Richter was the only victim that Sutcliffe had sexually assaulted. I won't say that R word.
Yeah.
After Richter managed to raise her feet, Sutcliffe struck her again in the back of the head multiple times with his hammer before retrieving a knife from his car and stabbing her several times in the heart and lungs. Richter's body was discovered 3 days later, concealed behind a stack of timber and covered in sheets of asbestos beneath the railway arches of the timber yard.
I wonder
So that's the only essay.
None of others. What was so special about her?
I think because she was still alive.
Yeah, but he never got done for that. He only got done for murders. He never got done for any rape or out like that.
Because if you look what she says, though, she was
cat.
Big up cat. It managed to raise her feet. So maybe because she was still alive.
Oh, that's gruesome. But it's strange how that was the only one he ever assaulted.
Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it?
He killed 30 women, 7 attempts, right? So in those 20 women, 1 out of the 20 is sexually assaulted. That's quite...
I didn't get done for it.
I'm going to say something here. I reckon he did more than these, if I'm honest.
It says that they said that he never got done for sexual assault in any of them because they just said just do it for murder. But that's wrong because
I agree. I do believe he did more than these. There's no way he's done all his costumes and he only essayed 1. There's more to it. I do believe there's more out there, if I'm honest.
It's because the coppers
or maybe coppers the bodies of the others and they never know, but
he has essayed
20 people, he only assaulted 1 of them.
Yeah,
he has essayed prostitutes in between, and because of the work we're doing, they didn't come forward. I do not believe for 1 second he only sexually assaulted 1 person. No, I don't
remember would police even took him seriously if they'd gone to busy and said this has happened to me.
There's more victims of his, maybe not murdered, but he assaulted, guaranteed. Because there's no way you jump from not doing anybody, sexually assaulting anybody, just the 1 person. There's more out there. I agree.
You know what I
mean?
Yeah.
So, did I? Yeah, I did. Sorry. Vera Evelyn Millward, 40-year-old sex worker and mother of 7, departed her council flat in Hulme at 10 p.m. on the 16th of May, 1978, informing her boyfriend that she was stepping out to purchase cigarettes. Sutcliffe then picked up Millard and transported her to a parking area of the Manchester Royal Infirmary located at Charlton on Medlock. Once she exited his vehicle, Sutcliffe launched an attack on Millward, using a hammer. Additionally, she was slashed across her abdomen and stabbed multiple times with a screwdriver, which penetrated through the same wound in her back. The ferocity of Sutcliffe's assault on her stomach was such that he effectively opened up her stomach. Following her death, Sutcliffe proceeded to drag Millwood's body against the fence and continued to stab her repeatedly with a knife.
She's already fucking dead.
She put up a fight.
That were revenge with that. That wasn't just a kill. That was
She,
just,
for the ferocity of the assault, she put up a fight more than the others did. That's the only reason I can think of why he has gone so over the top.
he's dead.
He's dead. He's dead, Cat Darling. He's gone.
He got attacked in prison. He got blinded in prison.
With her, I reckon she fought back.
Possibly, but
Just for the sheer violence of her death. And
yeah, it's
that
hatred, isn't it? That it's proper hatred.
Even though she was already dead, he still did her body harm. He still desecrated the corpse. I think is what, like dragging her against the fence and still starving it, even though she was still already dead. I believe she fought back.
You've just lost control. Full stop.
Yeah, I believe she fought back. She even fought back and injured him, which has caused him to do that even worse. I reckon she fought back and injured him. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. But for sheer level of violence on her, even after she was dead, it says to me she must have clipped him. She'd done something.
Yeah. Which then made it worse.
Yeah. That's why her attack is so ferocious compared to the others. She fought back. She damaged. She hit him. I reckon she got him somewhere.
Ooh, and testicles hit the floor like a letter.
I hope so. It fucking went a little bit. On the eve, so we're 1979 now. On the evening of March 2nd, 1978, 22-year-old Irish student Anne Rooney was assaulted from behind Horsforth College in Horsforth. I know where that is. She sustained 3 blows to the head, likely inflicted with a hammer, as noted by Professor David Gee, who assessed her at Leeds General Infirmary. Rooney's account of her assault and his vehicle closely resembled that of Sutcliffe's and his Sunbeam rapier, which had been reported by the police multiple times in the Leadbright district in both Leeds and Bradford. In 1992, Sutcliffe admitted to assaulting on Rooney, in addition to the 1975 attack on Tracy Brown. And at that time, Barbara Mills QC, the Director of Public Prosecutions, determined that pursuing further charges against Sutcliffe for the assaults on Brown and Rooney was not in the public's interest.
Oh, wow. But that's not for you to decide, is it?
Exactly. I think that caused some outrage as well, because they should have been added to the list of victims to get their justice. But
well, the red light district in Leeds were on Spencer Place, and there used to be a lady called Neil and June who lived on Spencer Place, number 77 Spencer Place.
I'll just move this back there while you're talking. So then
they used to do CB radio with my dad and do Channel 9, so we used to go there.
Yeah,
and you know, she actually during that him going around being a dick and murdering prostitutes, she actually let them use one of her bedrooms upstairs as a room for safety. I remember doing that, and one of them were called Zoe, and she was really nice. And you know, to watch her let them come and use their house so they could feel safe. To do a job like that and not feel safe, it's got to be awful. But yeah, she used to let them. I think they paid her a £5 a time. They had to punt her.
Suppose it's better being safe.
Yeah. She did. Right, I've got a room, you can use it. If you want to use it, it's safe.
So I mean, even back then, we didn't care what they did because it wasn't affecting our way of life, and obviously,
it wasn't just that otherwise. Because she lived on Spencer Place and she knew all the prostitutes. Because you walk down at the opposite corners and you've got to all say hello to
not so much now. Not so much now.
Now they've all gone. But
all gone.
Back then, they used to all stand on corners and chat, and they used to say hello because it's always faces and knew who we were. Do you know what I mean? So you get to know them on a one-to-one basis by standing and talking to them at the gate. And I think she had about 4 of them. She used to let the room to. They used to come and use the room, and she'd make a right fucking profit.
Big up to her though, for at least letting them go somewhere safe.
Auntie June were a thing you wouldn't mess with her. She was small.
You know what I mean? Because no matter what, police were telling them not to do it. They were still doing it anyway. Because, like they said, they had to earn money.
It was on the streets.
Yeah, they had to earn the money.
Yeah.
So on 11:55 p.m. on April the 4th, 1979, Sutcliffe murdered Josephine Ann Whitaker, a 19-year-old clerk who was walking home through Savile Park Moor in Halifax. Sutcliffe struck Whitaker from behind with his ball-peen hammer and then struck her again as she lay on the ground. He subsequently stabbed her with a screwdriver 21 times in the chest and abdomen and 6 times in the right leg before also inserting the screwdriver into her vagina. Sorry, peoples. Whittaker's skull was fractured from ear to ear.
That's so fucking crap.
So he sodomized her.
Yeah, he did.
Sodomized this one. I think that's the right terminology, sodomize. I think that's the right terminology. Could be wrong.
But you see, when you're growing up, right, and this is happening, you hear all different stories of what he did do, what he didn't do. How true were the stories I heard that he'd smash bottles and stuck them up them and everything, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with, because I mean, I was only young then myself, so you know that was scary. And to be around the same area where these were happening, we never went anywhere alone at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just found some at home as well, which I'll mention later. No, just got some information. That's all.
Big up school.
In spite of forensic evidence available, police resources were redirected for several months after they received a taped message. Here we go. That allegedly came from the murderer, mocking Assistant Chief Constable George Oldfield of the West Yorkshire Police, who was overseeing the Yorkshire Ripper investigation. I will be covering this part briefly. The recording featured a male voice stating, "I'm Jack. I see you having a null catching me. I have the greatest respect for you, George, but Lord, you're no nearer catching me now than 4 years ago when I started." Following the content of the tape, law enforcement initially initiated a search for an individual with a Wayside accent, which linguists traced back to the Castletown region of Sunderland, Tyne and Ware. The impersonator, referred to as Wayside Jack, sent 2 letters to both the police and the Daily Mirror in March 1978, boasting about his offences. The letters, which were signed Jack the Ripper, took responsibility for the murder of 26-year-old John Harrison in Preston in November of 1975. That murder was not Peter Sutcliffe's. I don't know if I've covered it, but I watched a documentary on this person.
Yeah, no, he did not. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. The bloke who is later found out to be Wayside Jack believed it was a Ripper. It was Peter Sutcliffe's murder victim, and he sent this lot to get his attention to believe, because he truly believed that Peter killed John, but it wasn't Peter. I think they actually got the person who killed her.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, they did. They had nothing to do with it.
Just trying to recall. No. My brain's still not in full gear yet. It's
They
getting
threw them off the fucking tracks, police. Put it this way.
It was weird because while you were reading that, I could hear word for word in the accent. It was weird.
I mean, so I wasn't going to do no Geordie or something. I wasn't going to even attempt.
I remember hearing it on the TV, and that is exactly how it sounded.
So the thing is, you were born around this time. You were what, 8 years old? Yeah, at this point you were 8 years old, so it would have been all over the news when you were younger.
And we lived in Cross Green then.
So before we continue, because obviously you were literally alive when all this was going down.
I fucking hope so.
No, but you know what I mean, though. You'll probably have some sort of memory of, like, at least like the Wayside Jack and the. Basically, the Wayside Jack, because I know it was very highly.
When you were reading out what he says about the video on the tape, I could hear that voice, not your voice, but his voice. That was fucking weird. That was creepy.
You know what I mean, though. So, obviously, you were only 8.
Yeah.
At the time, do you actually remember any of this?
Yeah.
And not like I said, you were only 8.
Yeah, no, I remember it all because we used to watch the news. Because even though we were in, I think we were moving from Cross Green to Cross Gates, and because we moved out there in '79. But I remember listening to the video because in '79 we actually lived in Cross Gates in '79, and I remember watching the news and then playing the tape on the TV so you could hear the voice. And it wasn't just once or twice; it was constant. So each news reveal, use it like what you spin now. It's different now, but every news that came on, it'd be on every news item, every channel. Well, every 3 channels back then. Now I've got that fucking many. So you remember? I remember it, and I remember my dad going to work and being stopped down Shannon Street near Leeds Market by police, and they were questioning me what to see his ID and everything, because back then my dad were working all day long. I remember seeing police arrest my dad, stop my dad, and I told my mum that, and my dad said, "Oh yeah, they stopped the question." But for me, yeah, I remember my dad getting stopped.
About that then tomorrow when we see him.
Yeah, ask him. He got stopped because the last got raped.
Hey, Jess, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I was.
You know what to do about that, Jess? Nothing about you, but we're going to be interviewed by police in regards to Jack the Ripper.
No, it stopped him. But do you remember when the copper Sergeant Steve got murdered in town?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, the time they stopped him, and in fact, Sergeant when he got killed, Steed, I was in a laundrette on York Road with a lady called Lindsay. Now, Lindsay's related somewhere along the line. And this guy walked into where the post office is, where the post office used to be on York Road Station, who passed away. He actually walked in to the laundrette with the Evening Post in his hand, turned it round, went, "That's me." And the guy that actually had the paper in his hand was a paper that was in the paper. And we actually reported to police, and the police come out and we told them what he'd said and what we'd seen. They didn't do fuck all. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I remember everything from start to finish. The letters.
I'll follow up on that then. I'll follow up on that and let everybody else know. Right.
Yep. It was
so in 1979, numerous billboards were installed throughout the northern England seeking information regarding the identity of Wayside Jack. The investigation into the hoax was reopened in 2005, and DNA samples collected from the envelopes were submitted to the national database. This DNA was found to match that of John Samuel Humble, an unemployed alcoholic who had been a long-term resident of the Ford estate in Sunderland, located just a few miles from Castletown. His DNA had been collected following a drunken disorderly conduct charge in 2001. On October 20th, 2005, Humble faced charges for attempting to obstruct the justice by sending fraudulent letters and tape. He was held in custody, and subsequently, on March 23rd, 2006, he was found guilty and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Humble passed away on July 2019 at the age of 63. I have covered him a bit further down the line.
Yeah.
Just a short one, nothing too extensive. At around 1 a.m. on September the 1st, Suffolk took the life of 20-year-old Barbara Janine Leach, a social psychology student at Bradford University, who had just exited a pub. After passing by Sutcliffe, Leach was assaulted with a hammer, and he dragged her into a backyard of 13 Black Ash Grove, behind a low wall where dustbins were located, before lifting her shirt and bra to expose her breasts and unbuttoning her jeans, partially pulling them down. He subsequently stabbed her with the same screwdriver he had utilised to murder Whittaker. Sutcliffe concealed Leach's body with an old carpet and placed stones atop of it. The murder of another woman, who was not engaged in prostitution, caused public alarm and led to extensive public campaign highlighting the Wayside connection. Despite this misleading lead, Sutcliffe was interviewed on at least 2 additional occasions in 1979. Although he matched several forensic clues and was included in a list of 300 names related to the £5 note, he was not regarded as a strong suspect. Yet again, 2 more times now he's been interviewed, and 2 more times they've let him go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the more you go through this is what, when I've watched this back, me old enough now and understanding it, if I were back then and at my age I am now, I would have launched for the TV to punch George and the 2 other dudes that were with him at that press conference. They were screaming from ear to ear. We caught him.
Yeah, they were. Do you know, I actually remember the video.
Don't show me fucking smiling, dude.
I remember press conference where they caught him, and they were like, they sat there so smarmy and like,
so smug. They were so smug.
Yeah. They were.
So smug. Yeah, Jess?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Just chilling, darling.
On the show.
polished.
Oh,
So on June, sorry guys, we've got 29 out of 59 slides. Sorry, I didn't say it was a long one.
If you need to go for a piss, go now.
Yeah, if you need to go pee, let me know. On June 26th, Sutcliffe was stopped while driving and subsequently tested positive for alcohol, leading to his arrest while he awaited trial, scheduled for mid-January 1981. He murdered 47-year-old civil servant Marguerite Walls on the 9th of August 20th. Walls departed her office between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. to walk home in Farsley. Sutcliffe incapacitated her with a hammer, striking at the back of her head, continuing to assault her while shouting, "Filthy prostitute," next to a driveway. She transported her approximately 20 yards from the site of the attack up the driveway and into a high-walled garden. Sutcliffe first secured a length of rope around the Wall's neck and tightened it. There, he suffocated her and removed her nearly all of her clothes except her tights. He then partially concealed the body with grass and leaves before departing. At this point now, he's just attacking anyone that's around.
He didn't give a fuck.
And assuming they're prostitutes.
So I were 9 in 80. In 81, I was 10.
Yeah. So even though he was waiting trial for a DUI, he's still murdering people.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the West Yorkshire police are absolute laughing stock. At this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
More than just laughing stocks, incompetent comes to mind.
I mean,
But
your
thing is
mama
though,
remember this, though, Jess. I'm going to say, so your mama remember this. They actually had protests in town.
Yes, they did. When they were trying to implement the curfews, and we were saying at the beginning, they protested.
If I remember rightly, what had happened was they turned around and said that all females are not supposed to go out on their own because you're all at risk. Because they tried to say that all females were prostitutes or easily targeted because of the way they're dressed. That is exactly what they said. Females are targeted for the way they dress. So if you walked out in a pair of jeans and a fucking big jumper, it was your fault that you looked like that.
Yeah.
Or you wore a short skirt or a long skirt because your fault you were getting attacked. And there was an outcry.
I think more than not true to the end of the day, you should be able to wear what you want. It don't mean you're a prostitute, and it certainly don't mean that you fucking have right to go and whack you on head with a fucking hammer.
Yeah, that's why they did the protests in town because they said
it's so stereotypical that though when it cruises. Because you wear a short skirt or you've got, a tie of that or pencil skirt or whatever, that means you're a prostitute. You should be attacked. So get out of here already.
That's why now you can't be saying that to women. You can't blame them for what they're wearing.
Back in them days, it was totally different to how it is nowadays. But I know one thing: whatever your attire is, it don't mean you should be attacked in fucking street.
Yeah.
The thing is, though,
nowadays, I've nothing on. You might as well just say, "Don't wear now."
Maybe someone leaving work.
I agree.
What was she wearing? If they went down that route, what was that lady wearing? I doubt she was wearing a fucking short skirt and fucking low cut top in an office.
Whether she won or whether she won, it don't mean you deserve to be a fucking
exactly. But I'm going on what police think about.
Because police were arrogant back then and nasty. Big up Cuba.
Yeah,
they were arrogant. They were a burden to them. That's why they weren't bothered. They were just as judgmental as every fucker else with police.
A 34-year-old physician from Singapore, Upandaya Bandara, I do apologise, was returning home after meeting friends when Sutcliffe pursued her into an alley in Headingley. He hit her on the head, causing her to lose consciousness. Subsequently, when he was alarmed, he pulled her down the street with a rope around her neck, resulting in her death, and then escaped.
True.
Yeah.
The difference is, though, they had plenty of opportunities to get him.
Yeah, he did. At this point, he's been interviewed 4 times, and he was on bail, waiting trial for a DUI. Maureen Lee, a 21-year-old art student enrolled at Leeds University, was assaulted by Sutcliffe on 25th of October. After concluding her visit to a pub with friends in Chapeltown, Lee was attacked while she rushed down a dimly lit street to board bus home. She sustained severe injuries, which included a puncture wound to the back of her skull, a fractured skull, a broken cheekbone, shattered jaw, along with multiple scratches and bruises. So she survived this attack.
Yeah, that's either gay
How the
or
fuck she
gay.
survived it, I'll never fucking know.
This one's a survivor as well. On the evening of November 5th, 16-year-old Teresa Sykes was assaulted in Huddersfield while on her way to shop in Oaks. She was struck from behind by Sutcliffe. Her boyfriend, upon hearing her cries for help, rushed outside and frightened Sutcliffe away. At the time of Sutcliffe's arrest, Sykes was in the process of recuperating from brain surgery.
So he would have been a liable witness.
So my apologies, no, I think Maureen was dead.
But what kind of quality of life, anyway, did they have when they've been, even if they have survived getting it on head with an hammer, like brain trauma and stuff like that? It's like living a prison sentence anyway, innit?
Yeah, she was the one, I think she was the one that listened to. I could be wrong.
There is one where women got attacked and she's actually done an interview about it. And she said
she's on the Netflix one, the actual one that they used. She's actually in the Netflix one.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Hill, a 20-year-old student enrolled at Leeds University, was tragically murdered on the evening of the 17th of November. As Hill was making her way back to her student accommodation in Headingley, Sutcliffe struck her on the head, subsequently disrobing her and inflicting multiple stab wounds to her chest and a single stab to her eye with a screwdriver.
I mean, that's gruesome, innit? I mean, I know stabbing, but
in the eye.
The brutality that he took it to were a total different new level, like stabbing him in the eyes. It's just absolute pure hatred. And I genuinely believe that stemmed from his father doing what he did when he was younger with his mum and that, because, I mean, look, we all know when there's been serial killers and all, but to only sexual assault one of them out of 20, and to go to what he went to, as in dehumanising them women, he were absolutely fucking brutal. I can't lie. He made sure that he'd done the most he could do to their bodies. And, you know, imagine having to, as a parent, go and identify a body as your daughter or as your son.
With that extent of
injuries. In nowadays, that wouldn't have been like now. If it's too bad, they don't let you identity. They usually go for dental records, but back then it was totally different. And I mean, that must be hard to parents for life. I can't lie.
Can you imagine going in there and finding your child
exactly mutilated like that?
No, man. Do you know what I mean?
Big up, Vinny.
No, I can't do it.
So that is the last murder. On November 25th, Trevor Birdsall, a friend of Sutcliffe and the unintentional getaway driver during his initial recorded attack in 1969, informed the police of his suspicions regarding Sutcliffe. Overall, Sutcliffe had been interrogated by law enforcement on 9 distinct occasions related to the Ripper investigation prior to his eventual apprehension and sentencing. 9 times!
Senegal have just scored, but it's been ruled out. Sorry.
No, I've got it on my laptop. No, I'll kid you not, Jess. I've got it on my laptop as well. I've been keeping an eye on it myself. Right.
I didn't want to interrupt, sorry.
So the next lot is victims and survivors. Ignore the S there. So,
before you go, Stacey, right, if you look at all them women, right, there's nothing. So they're not all got blonde hair, they're not all got brown hair, they're all not whatever, brunette. They're all different, aren't they, in that respect of young, old, you know, there's no, he's just gone for teenagers, or he's just gone for women in the 20s, or all like that, or he's just gone for women with blonde hair. There's a vast variety there, what he's gone for. So you can't even say, I know the majority was prostitutes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because there's no, you know, like with certain people, like with Levi Belfield, it was blonde hair, for example, what he attacked. Yeah, he was from Leeds, Vinny. He was from Bradford. That's crazy. So it didn't matter who the war. He'd just kill them anyway. Whether that war brown hair, blonde hair, fucking blue hair, orange hair, whatever. It's crazy. Yeah. And even if there wasn't a prostitute, if he thought there was a prostitute, he'd still go for him anyway.
Yeah.
So what chance did you really have as a young woman in Yorkshire or Leeds, Bradford, Manchester? At the time, you didn't, did you? So you can understand, I suppose, like your mum and dad, Cruzy, and like my mum's mum and dad, why they said to them, we don't want you out after a certain time, and we certainly don't want you out on your own. Yeah. Because everybody was fair game.
It became a point where we had lockdown where my dad would say, if you're not home by a certain time, that's it, forget it. But I never went out after that. I always stayed in because it was scary to think that walking out your front door, you might not return now. No. I mean, I met Tony in 80, so
And it restarted.
81, give or take. Yeah. So we used to hang around a lot, but we had friends and we all hung around together. So being able to walk home with friends, and then they had to walk home. But lucky enough, we had friends that did that. But walking home from school was scary. In fact, even though school was 5 seconds away from where we lived, it was scary. Locking down, don't go out nowhere, don't go shop on your own, make sure somebody goes with you. We're like, so I actually lived that.
Ian, I'm having issues with the presentations. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I
had to do a little.
Like Mama lived it as well. It's scary, especially when we lived in Cross Green. Because when we lived in Cross Green, we were close to Chapeltown, and we had in Airels.
I think my mum were in Farnley growing up, and then they moved over to Middleton a bit later on. But I can remember her when we've had conversations in past saying about that she had a curfew and she wanted to go out on her own, and that's my mum was eldest. Chris and Sarah, there's quite a big age gap. I think there's 8 years between my mum's brother and herself. My mum's older, she's 60 this year, and now Chris is 50, 51, and then there's Sarah. So she was eldest.
So our Dawn, she was the oldest, 81. She was still at home, Dawn, so she run at the same curfew. Andrew, wasn't all about him, but I was youngest. But I remember it from start to finish. The video, the tape, the lot, the interviews on the TV.
I remember listening to tape when they released it on Crime Watch, to be fair, at the time, and that's how they got him. But he were a right grot as well.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, that when they caught him. But again, for me, Wayside Jack was just as culpable, in my opinion, because if he wouldn't have made those tapes that he made, then they wouldn't have gone off. I'm not saying they did a very good job at the time, please, but then when he heard that tape, that copper, he worked parallel with it all, and it were like, oh no, it's definitely a Geordie. And even though some women who survived said, no, actually he's not, he's got a Yorkshire accent, he would have none of it. And that led him down a path that, to be honest with you, they couldn't recover from.
But when that released, that tape of him saying, I'm so a lot of people did come out and say that, no, it's not the right guy. It's not the right guy. He's a Yorkshire guy. He's from here. He's from Leeds. He's a Yorkshire guy. I mean, Bradford, Keighley. Tony's from Keighley, believe it or not. He was born in
I'm going to come out and come back in again, Jess. It's not letting me share the presentation. Keeps keeping it.
So,
just like us, Jess.
Yeah, it's like...
I just think incompetence Cruzy at its finest, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, it is.
What bugs me though is like, why that bloke ever did that video, like the tape recording and the letters to the newspaper. What on earth did a 23-year-old lad do that? Because that's not normal.
No, it's not. It must
you know what I'm saying?
He must have thought, if I do this, I'll get notoriety, and they'll go, oh, look. Do you know what I mean? You just don't.
It wasn't even just like, it were very, 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 very broad.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
But they'd already said, the women that had survived, like, oh no, he's definitely got a Yorkshire accent. So why on earth police then thought, I know the tape he sent, but crazy.
I think he just did that to think that if he made it out that it was him, he'd get the press and turning to, because they have this weird sick thing about wanting to be famous, don't they, somewhere or another, and giving the 15 minutes of fame. I think that's what he did, but I think that's where the mistakes were made. They should have realised he was a Yorkshire guy and not from somewhere else. I
don't know how good you're going to be able to hear this. Let me try and... I don't know how good you're going to be able to hear this, peeps, but this is the actual tape of what he sent. Let me just turn my volume up. You might be able to hear it a bit better. This is what he put.
Having no look catching me. I have the greatest respect for you, George. But Lord, you are no nearer catching me now than 4 years ago when I started. I reckon your boys are letting you down, George. They can't be much good, can they? The only time they came near catching me was a few months back in Chapeltown when I was disturbed. I warned you in March that I'd strike again. Sorry, it wasn't Bradford. I'm not quite sure when I'll strike again. But it will be definitely sometime this year. I'm not sure where. Maybe Manchester. I like it there. There's plenty of them knocking about. They never learn, do they, George? I bet you've warned them, but they never listen. Well, it's been nice chatting to you, George. Yours, Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. That with the Yorkshire accent is totally different. There's a twang with the Yorkshire accent, and you know it. If you're from Yorkshire, you know it. Like, who is it? So we just put it on there. Who put it on? Yeah,
Yes.
like Wizzy says, they were all Yorkshire women that got attacked, apart from Manchester when he did the tour in Manchester. But they all knew it were Yorkshire. That's me going off again. Which is funny because
This way.
we don't hear it ourselves sometimes. That we have a Yorkshire accent. My mind's not Yorkshire. Mine.
I don't know. As soon as I went down to Bristol, it was, we know you're not from here. Where are you from? Yorkshire.
Oh, I mean, Barnsley talk different as well. It's fucking weird. Do you know what I mean?
You're all right.
Yeah,
Right, let's go to this. No, right. Sorry, I got this way for some reason. When I
looking at him, I'll be honest with you, Alison, right? 1 minute. Let me see if we can.
just
Right, Alison, here. This is Wearside Jack, and this is Jack the Ripper, right? I'll share this before we move on, right? So,
yeah.
this guy, the guy on the left, Jack the Ripper. This guy here on the right in the blue, that were Wearside Jack.
It's nothing. They don't even look alike.
Yeah, no. And when he was younger, he looked a bit like, that's how he looked when he was younger.
Yeah.
But there's nothing there.
That's good by you, isn't it?
And that's him when they arrested him there by West Yorkshire police.
Yeah,
He's dead now, by the way. Died at 63. Wearside Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that.
Try again.
Okay,
I don't like doing that. But... Give me a second,
You're not
guys.
doing anything wrong, Vinda. You behave, to be fair. But that
No,
was it.
you're actually talking about what we're talking about, so you're all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I'm off this way for some reason. It won't let me share it when I do it as a slideshow. So these are the victims and the survivors. So the ones that he actually killed was William McCann in 1975, Emily Jackson in 1976, Irene Richardson in 1977, Patricia Atkinson also in 77, and Jane MacDonald and Jane Jordan also in 1977. In 1978, he killed Yvonne Pearson and Margaret Davis. And then in 1979, Leslie Simpson. And then in Jacqueline Hill in 1980. And then obviously they've added Barbara Leach in 1979 and Margaret Hartwalls in 1980. And the survivors were Olive Smelt Olive Smelt and Tracy Brown in 1975. Marlene Doff, 1977. I think she was the one. So if I just point her out, this lady here is one that's been interviewed on national television, stating she went to police saying he had a Yorkshire accent, not Wayside or anything like that. This person here.
She gave a direct.
I think that's Marlene Doff.
What he looked like.
Too sure.
What look at DNA, Alison, looking the envelope, Wearside Jack, by the way.
The envelope. Yeah, I am covering him. Sonna Shaw, also in 77, and Beverly Lodge in 1978. So these are all his victims, survivors, and unfortunately the ones that perished under his tyranny, shall we say. So next is a couple of photos from the crime scene. Nothing vulgar, nothing bloody or anything like that. It's what these were in the Watling National paper, and these was also used in the Netflix series. So Joseph Whitaker, crime scene, left out in the open to be found. So she's there, but it's been blurred out. So just to show that he did not give a shit, he did just complete disregard for his victims. That's Josephine Whitaker. This is where she was left.
Is that the one?
I think one of the most prominent ones is the next picture.
That one, yeah. Well, that one.
This one is Soldiers Field.
Well, the one in Roundy Park.
I have been stood in that spot.
Where you can actually just see her.
Yeah. So Irene Richardson's body was yet again left out in the open in Roundy Park, Soldiers Field. It wasn't until we were driving past it the other day after doing this, I realised I have stood in that spot quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's eerie just thinking about it. I've stood there so many times, and then obviously there's nowhere. Just a bit further up where this picture is taken, there's now like an outbuilding. Which is freaky.
We used to be there all the time on them fields when we were kids.
Yeah, so this was the article that was used by the media during the coverage of the rampage of the Yorkshire Ripper. So the hunt for the Yorkshire Ripper. Help us stop Ripper from killing again. So these were all, obviously, this was after, like, obviously there's a picture there of Sutcliffe and his wife. I think that's an E-fit, I'm possibly sure, but I tried to find things that was used at the time in the media.
Yeah, that's his wife.
So during the rampage that Peter was causing, there was a hoax tape sent to police, given the name Wayside Jack. This caused the investigation to waste valuable time, even to the point where West Yorkshire police ignored a victim when they stated he was a Yorkshireman. Which I think is one of the one that I pointed out in the picture. She was the one that was telling him he was not any but a Yorkshireman.
Sorry, that Wayside Jack cost fucking lives. We all said he's gone to prison for fucking lives. Never mind how long he got.
Yeah. So Wayside Jack. The Wayside Jack is a moniker assigned to John Samuel Humble, who was born 8th of January 1956 and died on 30th of July 2019. A British individual who feigned being the Yorkshire Ripper through a deceptive audio recording and multiple letters during 1978 and 1979. Humble dispatched a recorded message articulating in a Wayside dialect along with 3 letters, mocking the authorities for their inability to apprehend him. The message, captured on an audio cassette, resulted in the investigation being redirected away from the Yorkshire region, the actual resident of the genuine perpetrator, Peter Coonan, consequently aiding in the extinction of his assault on women and potentially postponing his capture by a duration of 18 months. Over 25 years following the incident, a fragment from one of Humble's envelope was linked to him via DNA analysis. In 2006, he received an 8-year prison sentence for obstructing the course of justice.
They're doing fucking longer
the
than
3
that.
letters between 1978 and the conclusion of June 1979, Humble dispatched 3 letters asserting his identity as the Yorkshire Ripper. 2 of these letters, postmarked from Sunderland, were directed to the Assistant Chief Constable, George Orfield of the West Yorkshire Police, who was leading the investigation into the Ripper case, while the 3rd was sent to the Daily Mirror.
He would have fucking bell end that copper that was in charge. That fucking George Orfield.
Oh, what are you doing?
Stacey's not got a clue. Stacey's not got
Yeah. No, it's because it won't let me share it as a full screen PDF. I've got to do it this way. So, Wayside Letters, 8th of March, 1978. Written to Assistant Chief Constable George Orfield. Dear Sir, I'm sorry that I cannot give you my name for obvious reasons. I am the Ripper. I've been dubbed the maniac by the press, but not by you. You call me clever, and I am. You, your mates, haven't a clue. The photo in the paper gives me fits, and that bit about killing myself, no chance. I've got things to do. My purpose is to rid the streets of. Sorry, Zach just walked in. Go. Sorry about that. I've got things to do. My purpose is to rid the streets of them sluts. Pardon my French. My one regret is that the young lassie MacDonald did not know cause change routine that night. Up to number 8 now, you say 7, but I remember Preston 75. But get about you now. You were right. I travel a bit. You're probably looking for me in Sunderland. Don't bother. I'm not daft. Just posted letter there on one of my trips. Not a bad place compared with Chapeltown and Manningham and other places. Warn Horse to keep off the streets because I feel it coming on again. Sorry about young lassie. Yours respectfully, Jack the Ripper. Might write again. I'm not sure. Last one really deserved it. Horse getting younger each time. Old slut next time, I hope. Huddersfield never again. Too small. Close call to last one. That's bad. That was the fun.
Nice.
Well, you had to say you never fucking did it. You just got all this out of papers.
What I referred to. The term Preston 75 refers to the murders of Joan Harrison. At that time, the Yorkshire Ripper was suspected of having committed the crime. However, the alleged link was mistakenly believed to be outside the public awareness, which allowed the hoaxer's assertion to gain unwarranted credibility. Hello, Oliver. Sutcliffe claimed, Zach, just get in the room. For God's sake. Sutcliffe claimed ignorance of the matter and was not prosecuted for this offence. The case remained unsolved until 2011, when DNA evidence collected from the crime scene was linked to a deceased individual named Christopher Smith, who passed away in 2008, who had previously been convicted of various crimes, including attempted sexual assault and manslaughter.
No, because it wasn't him who were taking the piss. It was somebody else that didn't even commit the murders. Somebody thought they were going to have a laugh. It derailed the investigation.
On June 17th, 1979, Humble sent a cassette to Assistant Chief Constable Oldfield, where he introduced himself under the name Jack and claimed responsibility for the Ripper murders. To that point, I am Jack. I see you're still having no luck catching me. This is the tape that Jesse's not long played. I have the greatest respect for you, George, but Lord, you are no nearer catching me now than 4 years ago when I started. I reckon your boys are letting you down, George. They can't be much good, can they? The recording on a cassette tape ended with a segment from a 1978 single, Thank You for Being a Friend, by Andrew Gold. George Oldfield and other senior officers were informed by the FBI that the creator of the tape was a blatant hoaxer. The US profiling expert Robert Ressler indicated in his co-written book, Whoever Fights Monsters, that he contacted them to inform them immediately after he heard the recording. So even American FBI was telling them it was a hoax, and they didn't listen. Is the last one on my side, Jack? Yeah.
That
hoax
saying, thank you for being a friend, it was actually used as a...
1986 Vindaloo, by the way. DNA
it was used as a program's fucking theme tune, and I cannot remember what it was. I can keep thinking, I know the songs about Thank You for Being a Friend.
Yeah. As the West Yorkshire police pursued various leads, Sutcliffe went on to murder 3 additional women and assaulted 2 more. It was only after Sutcliffe's admission that the Wayside Jack case was revealed to be a fabrication.
Mm-hmm.
Oldfield chose to retire early.
No wonder.
Viewing the situation as a complete disgrace, he passed away in 1985 at the age of 61. During Humble's trial, it was revealed that Sutcliffe had informed the police post-arrest in 1981 that as long as that was happening, I felt secure. I'm not a Geordie. I was born in Shipley. On 21st March 2006, Humble was sentenced to 8 years in prison, and in July 2006, he launched an appeal against his sentence, which was rejected in October of the same year. And then
he should have gone to life.
The silly was similar to... Yeah.
Okay.
These are some of the tools similar to ones found to be used by Peter. Obviously, no screwdriver. Just give me 2 seconds, Jess. I can hear Zach pottering about.
Yeah, Scooby, you're right. The Golden Girls. Yeah, the Golden Girls. I remember the Golden Girls. Yeah, that's the song that used to be. Thank you for being a friend. Was it Travels Up and Down? Yeah. So yeah,
what's that Golden Girls?
So, Rose, Mucky Tar.
Yeah, well, we used to watch it, you know.
Yeah, I used to watch it as well. But yeah, it was Golden Girls. Cheers for that, school where I knew it was somewhere. Just I couldn't place of where it was.
Morocco have got a penalty here, right? They took all the players off Senegal, refused to fucking play. Now they've come back out. Oh wow.
I know Josh has been saying it, but putting it chat on it. I've been seeing messages.
I'm watching it. I've got it on. They've just been a right handbags and glad bags. Oh wow, now man is trying to delay things. Fucking stop cheating, man. He should have gone to prison for life, Kevin, because it's his fault that more fucking got murdered because of that stupid. Why he ever thought to do that, I'll never fucking know.
Yeah,
but what an absolute cock end.
What makes a person do that?
23-year-old lad at that time as well do that.
I just don't understand.
No, but I'm watching this game and there's a melee. Oh, he missed it! Oh, funny tap ball! Oh, you idiot! Sorry, but that's bad. And Stacey disappeared.
I apologise, Jess. Sorry.
Go.
Right.
No extra time. Go.
So, arrest. Mulgarth Police Station, located in the city centre of Leeds, is no longer there. It's now
gone.
demolished.
It's now called.
It's now February quarter. So, was the site of investigation into the Yorkshire Ripper. On January 2nd, 1981, police apprehended Sutcliffe while he was with 24-year-old sex worker Olivia Rivers in the driveway of the Light Trades House on Melbourne Avenue, Bromhill, Sheffield, South Yorkshire. A routine check conducted by a probationary constable, Robert Hyde, indicated that Sutcliffe's vehicle bore false number plates. Consequently, he was arrested and taken to Dewsbury Police Station in West Yorkshire. During his detention, Sutcliffe was interrogated regarding the Ripper case, as he conformed to several of the known physical descriptions. So now they're saying he actually fits the defect, and they were saying before he doesn't. I don't know if I mentioned it in this one. I'll just check the next slide. Right, no. So basically, Mulgarth Police Station had so much information in regards to the Ripper case, they had to put concrete pillars underneath the floor the files were, because it was causing the floor to cave in. Mulgarth, it was an old building, and it's like I said, it's now been demolished. But it was so, the structure, there was so much, there was like all the tips that were coming in, all the interviews, everything related to that case was in this one room.
Is it all an index card?
There were enough people answer phones, did they, as well?
No, it was literally in one room, and there was so much stuff. It was structurally damaging the building. That one room. So they had to stabilize the room. That
was our main police station.
It was,
for Leeds.
And the Multwelling Road.
No, they didn't. The
police station at Multwelling Road is Mulgarth.
Yeah, no, the one at
as well.
Ellen Road is ones from Killingbeck. They put it all together, Killingbeck and Gibson Approach.
Yeah. Yeah, Killingbeck. I forgot about Killingbeck. Right. On the following day, Sergeant Robert King acted on a hunch and revisited the location of Sutcliffe's arrest. There, he found a knife, hammer, and rope that Sutcliffe left behind in an oil storage tank after he momentarily evaded capture, claiming to the police that he was bursting for a pee. Additionally, Sutcliffe concealed a second knife within a toilet cistern at Dewsbury Police Station when he was allowed to use the restroom. Subsequently, police secured a search warrant for his residence in Heaton and summoned his wife for interrogation.
Yeah, she didn't have a fucking clue, did she?
Well, so she says, but I don't know.
You know, undressed at Dewsbury. Undressed at Dewsbury Police Station, it was discovered he was wearing an inverted V-neck jumper beneath his trousers. The sleeves had been drawn over his legs, leaving a V-neck area revealing his genital region. The front sections of the elbows were cushioned to safeguard his knees, likely due to his position over bodies of his victims. So that girl was his next victim. The sexual connotations of his attire were deemed apparent, yet this information remained unknown to the public until it was disclosed in 2003.
That's a strange thing to do, though, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
That V-neck jumper down there, that's an interesting...
Yeah. I just trying to think.
Yeah.
Then I realised exactly what Sorry. Took a lot to
it. Sorry. Upon the revelation I think he was to protect his knees when he was doing the murdering.
No, but he never had any undercrackers on. That's quite weird, isn't
it? Yeah.
Is that going
on the revelation of the weapons? Semi-commando. Upon the revelation of the weapons, Sutcliffe abruptly confessed to being the Yorkshire Ripper. In the following day, he recounted his numerous assaults with a sense of calm. He articulated that he felt an overpowering compulsion to kill any woman, characterising the urge to murder girls as nearly uncontrollable. Several weeks afterward, he asserted that God had commanded him to slay his victims, labelling the women he murdered as filth and bastard prostitutes who were polluting the streets. He believed he was merely tidying up the area Sutcliffe only conveyed remorse when reflecting on his youngest murder victim, Jane MacDonald, and exhibited emotion when interrogated about the murder of John Harrison, which he categorically denied. The murder of Harrison had been associated with the Ripper killings by Wayside Jack, but in 2001, as I stated earlier, DNA analysis disclosed that the crime had in fact been perpetrated by a convicted sex offender, Smith, who passed away in 2008.
I wonder what made him say that.
Trial.
That
Sutcliffe was formally charged on Monday, January 4th.
What would the cause for him to say that?
January 4th, 1981. The West Yorkshire Police disclosed the details of his arrest and charge to the media during a late-night press conference, while Smiling Place officials expressed their absolute delight regarding the developments. Their actions were subsequently criticised for effectively granting newspapers and other media outlets permission to publish background information about Sutcliffe, which contravened established norms regarding contempt of court. The situation directly influenced the stringent provisions of the Contempt of Court Act of 1981. Sutcliffe made his initial court appearance at Dewsbury on Monday, January 5th, amidst a large and hostile crowd that had gathered outside. Yeah, it was quiet.
Hostile. What he'd done. Okay, no.
Exactly.
That old bastard there with them fucking glasses on. Who's that George Oldfield? Him on left hand side there, him.
But this was actually the press conference where they were
fucking smiling. You didn't fucking idiots. He didn't even knew that caught him. It was Sheffield Police that fucking caught him.
All three of these men were smiling. This is from the actual conference, the late-night press conference.
That's your voice is coming out late after your mouth goes like that.
I know, I'm having issues. This is why I bought a new motherboard.
You are a fucking issue.
Oh, just
I mean, they sat there laughing, smiling, and joking, and yet it was murder, and the fight were funny.
Motherboard getting like that.
Just diabolical.
The computer's having a fit. So yeah, I'm free. During his trial in May, Sutcliffe entered a plea of not guilty to 13 murder charges. It's admitted to manslaughter due to diminished responsibility. Yeah, I've just seen it now.
He knew exactly what he was doing, diminished responsibility.
His defense predicted an assertion that he was an instrument of divine will. Sutcliffe states that he had been compelled by voices instructing him to murder prostitutes while he was employed as a gravedigger, claiming the voices emanated from the headstones of a Polish individual, Bronislaw Sobolski, and that they were the voice of God.
Whatever.
Bullshit. You just didn't want to go to prison.
Bullshit, yeah. Sutcliffe admitted guilt to 7 counts of attempted murder. The prosecution was prepared to accept his plea following a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia from 4 psychiatrists. However, the trial judge, Justice Sir Leslie Boham, required an unusual comprehensive justification for the prosecution's stance. Following a 2-hour presentation by Attorney General Sir Michael Havers, a 90-minute lunch intermission, and an additional 40 minutes of legal deliberation, Justice Boham dismissed the plea of diminished responsibility along with experts' opinions of psychiatrists, asserting that matters should be resolved by a jury. Formal trial was scheduled to begin on the 5th of May, 1981. Sutcliffe's trial extended over a period of 2 weeks, and in spite of attempts made by his legal representation, James Chadwin QC, Sutcliffe was convicted of murder on all charges and received a sentence of 20 concurrent life imprisonments. The jury dismissed the testimonies of 4 psychiatrists who claimed that Sutcliffe suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, a decision that may have been swayed by account of a prison officer who overheard him telling his wife that if he could persuade others of his insanity, he might receive a 10-year sentence in a loony bin, Broadmoor. Following the trial, he spent a subsequent 10 days at Wormwood Scrubs before being moved to Parkhurst Prison on the 2nd of June of 1981. In regards to him being at Parkhurst, I've just found this information out, he was built his own yard. They fenced off a section of the yard just for Sutcliffe.
Yeah, they were
for
not
fear
lockers,
that he would be attacked by the inmates.
Yeah, of course.
So he was segregated from the rest of the prison for his own safety.
They do that with a lot of them, though.
They got him though, didn't they? In prison, they fucking sliced him, didn't they?
I didn't.
In Broadmoor, he lost his
stabbed
eye.
in the eye, didn't
Yeah, he got stabbed in the eye in Broadmoor.
Yeah, then he got stabbed in the other eye that he had
Pen.
left. Yeah,
Mhm.
they went for other eye.
He was blinded in one eye by a
Tough.
She's got him with a fucking brain and killed him.
skit.
Mm.
Right, almost done, guys. Justice Brougham declared that Sutcliffe was beyond redemption and expressed the hope that he would never be released from prison. He recommended a minimum of 30 years before parole eligibility, suggesting that Sutcliffe would not be free until at least 2011. However, on 16th of July 2010, the High Court imposed a whole life tariff on Sutcliffe, ensuring he would never be released. After his trial, Sutcliffe acknowledged 2 additional attacks, although he was not prosecuted for these offences. Brown and someone else.
He got
That I mentioned
Her
previously.
Majesty's pleasure. It's now His Majesty's pleasure, which is
Well, at the time was Her Majesty's pleasure.
That's what I just said. That
Peter Coonan was jailed for murdering 13 women and attempted to murder 7 others. Oh, sorry.
and no sexual offence at all.
No.
Peter Sutcliffe passed away on November 13th, 2020, at the age of 74, in a hospital due to complications arising from COVID-19.
Oh,
Big up to
details.
COVID-19. Alongside his pre-existing health issues such as diabetes and heart disease. After he contracted the virus while incarcerated, an inquest determined that his death was due to natural causes, with reports indicating that he declined certain treatments and protective measures while in the maximum security facility.
Oh, details.
And I did not change the picture of the last one. No, I did not, sorry about that. So this has been the Yorkshire Ripper. I'm going to stop showing the screen now because it's going to stop me going weird.
Ow. I'm going to sit back. It's a bit dark inside it.
Definitely guilty by charge.
Oh, definitely guilty. Definitely guilty.
Need to get my rubber mallet out and go, guilty as charged.
He was an evil bastard though, wasn't he? I can't
yeah.
lie.
Yeah. I mean, the fear of God that he put up women up, you know what I mean? It was awful,
Mm.
you know. I mean, because your mum's the same age as me, ain't she, more or less?
Yeah.
And it, like, for me and your mum, it being the same. And like,
I can remember my mum telling me about it, Cruisy, about her mum saying to her, can you?
Yeah. And it's amazing how you hear something like when she says to Dad what he'd said on the tape was, I heard the voice of the guy and not her voice. It was weird. Fucking freaky shit. But yeah, no, it wasn't a good time at all.
The thing that always bugs me with that is like, I got what he was doing sort of thing, but like, Wearside Jack, like, why on earth he did what he did, I'll never sit right with me what that, because
Do you think he knew him somehow? And
I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't common knowledge what he knew, because it was all in public eye, in newspapers, but what on earth made him do that? It's a strange one. And I genuinely believe that he should have gone to prison for life for what he did, because in my opinion, 3 women lost their lives because of that fucking tape recording. So in my opinion, I mean, he's dead now. He died at 63, the Wearside Jack, but he should have gone to prison for the rest of his life, because you are just as culpable as Jack the Ripper.
Oh, yeah. He should have done.
And the police and that Oldfield were an absolute joke.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking joke, that guy. I swear to God, the police, that, you know, we can say what we want about police now, but they're better than what they were then.
Yeah, they are. I mean, a lot of things have changed. I mean, the crime rates changed. The way they do crime now, I mean, there's DNA, there's forensics.
Oh, yeah, it's harder to get away with the murder now than it was back in the 70s and 80s. Facts.
Listen, I don't know, I think we could get away with murders. We watch enough.
That is right with it.
Shave every left the body. I swear, as if you would like to get rid of, but I won't do it. Like, well, yeah. I mean, I don't think society now would have realised how bad it was back then. I mean, like for us, like Lizzie said, he remembers it as well. And then to live through that fear of not being able to go anywhere on your own, couldn't even go to the shop, couldn't even go to the garage car park, couldn't climb up garage roof. Because that's what we used to do when we were kids. Or climb trees. That's what you used to do.
No.
Or
It was caught with his wife. It was caught.
I do believe these things as
to get away.
I do believe there's such things as voices in the head and schizophrenia. I can't lie. And none of us can say whether he did or he didn't, to be honest.
No, but
that still doesn't justify him killing 13 women and attempting to murder another 7, in my opinion. But I do believe there's illnesses out there, absolutely. 100%.
Why did he get done for sexual assault, the rape? Why did he get done for that? I don't understand. You know,
because they knew he was never going to come out anyway, Cruzy. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
They knew he wasn't ever going to come out of prison anyway. But, you know, very brutal.
I think he said it just to get away with it.
Very, very brutal man. I can't lie. But I do believe that all stemmed from his childhood and what his dad did as well.
Yes,
I can't lie.
agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, 13 women lost their lives to him.
Yeah.
And another 7 were very lucky that they survived, but they'd have been disfigured for life.
Yeah.
Not just like
One of them's got serious disabilities because of it.
Yeah, but it's not just that, right? Imagine trying to go out as a woman, right? And that's happened to you. You won't ever go out again, will you? You want to become recluse and just stay in your own house. I mean, anyway, like, but it's scary. It's,
Very.
I mean, I go out now and I walk around like, you know what? If he doesn't come, I'm going to give him a fucking good fight because I will. I'll just knock him straight to the fucking floor. Kick him straight in the nuts and then fucking floor him to the floor. I don't give a fuck, me.
We know.
Male or female, I'll just straight to the fucking floor. But I've learned to live like that because I had no choice. But for women that are vulnerable, and there is women out there that are vulnerable that won't know what to do, and it's so fucking scary.
Very. She was very lucky. And if it wouldn't have been for South Yorkshire Police, how they can sit there all smiling and grinning. It wasn't you that caught him, it was South Yorkshire Police when all said and done.
Yeah, she would have been another victim if it for that officer.
Well, only because of number plates that they caught him because he had iffy number plates on front of his car.
And it was false, so.
It is real. It is real.
I don't think Sutcliffe were hearing voices because, like it stated, he was overheard having a conversation with his wife saying he was going to do it to get at least 10 years in prison. Yeah. So technically, what I'm hearing is he was using his right. He's 4 different psychologists turned around and said he had the paranoid schizophrenia. I believe that. But with him saying that to his wife on the phone was the reason why the judge threw that part out of reasonable insanity because of what he stated to his wife.
It's not just that, right? A lot of people say I am schizophrenic and I hear voices to get lesser sentences. You know,
I've got Broadmoor.
Big up, Dermo.
Which he didn't go Broadmoor.
But the thing is, he
didn't go Broadmoor.
Like Rolla says, her cousin, my mum had split personality disorder. She got put in fucking nutty place up in fucking Guiseley.
But he did Parkhurst in 81. Then he were in Broadmoor in 84. Then he got moved to a prison in 2016 because he were at HMP Frankland, which is not far from us in York.
So at Parkhurst, he was segregated for his own safety. So, like I said, he had it sectioned off, fenced off just for him. And then when he went to Broadmoor, he had lost a sight in his eye because someone stabbed him with a pen.
Yeah, bleed.
I do not feel sorry for him one fucking iota.
Nope.
No, me neither. Right, peeps, I think we'll wrap this one up. We've been going 2 hours. Let everybody get away. Bless up to the chat and the panel. Nice stream, well behaved as always. Polished. Polish.
Well,
next week is Beverly Allen, by the way.
The week after, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Guess I get the gruesome ones.
Yeah, I don't know. Beverly Allen's an interesting one. That divides opinion.
Like we said though, didn't we? When we started doing this, I'm more familiar with American
yeah,
serial
more familiar with American ones.
But I'm both.
Yeah,
I watch
I do
both.
know some British, but not a lot. So obviously, I know Sutcliffe. I do know Sutcliffe. There is one I've been asked to cover, but I don't know if I should cover it or not. Richard Black bloke.
No, I don't think
I should because it's children. I don't think I should.
No, it's a bit of a gruesome.
Yeah,
Right, Pete, we'll wrap this one up. We will be back live tomorrow for Bournemouth versus Brighton at 7:45. Bless up to everybody that's watched. Big up to Ian for the 2 gifted super memberships as well while we were live. Sorry I didn't thank you, but we were just talking. Bless up to yourself. There's only one thing left to say. Please don't have nightmares, and it's a good night from me.
It's a good night from her.
It's a good night from all of us.
Take care, peeps. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Thank you for a good stream, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Like and share, we shall see. Next time on True Crime Duo, make the right choices. Please don't have nightmares. Till next time.